Welcome back. Welcome back to a critical show. Women in Abia State and their role in the growth of Abia State, their role in the mission of Governor G.A.R.G. How do they do it? What must they do? My guest, the Commissioner for Women's Affairs, you remember her? Mrs. Brown. Commissioner Brown, welcome back to the show.
Thank you very much.
Commissioner, let me open the Pandora box. I know that this is usually the area where feelings are hurt, but this is raw. Abia, the condition that exists in this state is raw. Let us call it what it is, raw. We're not going to cut corners or make it seem like what it is not. So, let me ask you about the state of women in Abia and its relationship with Abians who are in the United States, Abians who are in Germany, in France, in London, in the United States, in Canada, and living it up. Living good, knowing that the condition at their home is not good. Commissioner, what can you do about it? What do you say to those people?
Yes, thank you very much. You know, in March we are going to have the International Women's Day celebration. And the program that my ministry is trying to package, the main theme of that program is a dinner we want to give to Abia women in the diaspora. We want to call back Abia daughters, Abia wives, wherever they are, because we know we have them, prominent ones, rich ones, educated ones. We want to call them back home and tell them, see our condition here. Because last year, my ministry did a tour of all the 17 local governments. We didn't just stop at the headquarters, we went to communities to interact with the rural woman. Because the woman we are talking about empowering is the rural woman. Because that's the woman that needs to be empowered. That's the woman that needs to be brought out. That's the woman that needs to come out of poverty. Now we went around the local governments and what we saw was a sorry sight. Women that could do with as little as 20,000 to go into their farms, to buy fertilizer, to start rearing little chicken and goats so that they can afford meal for their children. And those women, nobody is there to give it to them.
Nobody's reaching them.
Nobody is reaching them at all. The government can only do so much. The government cannot do everything. But the NGOs we are talking about are human beings out there. And we have our own people who are rich enough to form NGOs and reach back home. So that exercise helped us to be aware that we have to get our people to come back and help. So the dinner we are intending to organize, we are just, it's a kind of business round table for them to come back and tell us where they can help. Right now in Abia, the ministry has done a kind of pilot program. We have reached into one local government. We have been able to source from an individual the sum of as little as 500,000. And this 500,000 naira we have placed in a microfinance bank. And this microfinance bank has matched it up to 2 million naira. And we've given this fund out to women in that local government. And I can tell you that the reach, that the joy, that the kind of life we put into them.
Yes.
And this is only 500,000 that one individual said, I can give you this thing on trust. And we placed it in a microfinance bank. So government has made this provision that if you can place fund in microfinance banks, you'll be able to get, if you place say 25%, they'll match it up to 100% and you can give it out to the women.
Oh, we need to know more about that. We need to know more about that. Yeah.
Yes. You know, we tried to, when Her Excellency Chief Mrs. Odo George came on board, the very first meeting she did was to call in Central Bank to come and sensitize women on the availability of this fund. So what we're now asking for is people to bring in the trust fund, because we need people to bring in the money for us to place in the banks.
Oh, madam. Oh, I got to interfere here.
Yeah.
I've got to interfere here.
Go ahead.
You need money.
We need money.
And you've got money.
Where is the money?
Where's the money?
Yeah.
You're spending it in the United States.
Sure.
You're spending it in England. For what? Send the money here. And it'll be matched by government.
By government.
Is that correct?
That is what
and
doing.
that money will be turned into helping the very same people that you left home and went someplace looking for greener pastures.
And then they come home maybe once in a year at Christmas and give out cheap T-shirts, cheap chocolates. After 2 weeks, they go back, and we are back to suffering. So we would want them to come back. If you can't come back, send the money.
Send the money.
Trust.
Send the money. Is that what you want? Send the money. Send the money. Tell them, send the money.
Send the money.
If you don't want to come home, what do you want them to do with the money?
Send the money.
Say it again.
Send the money.
Madam Commissioner,
yeah.
That is a very critical part. There are some people, Abians, in diaspora, who love this country. They love this country very much. And they want to come home. They want to contribute. I know them personally. They've mentioned it to me in my show, and they really do want to help. We have the address, and of course you can also get it up on the internet system. You know how we do. The Ministry of Women Affairs, School Road Secretariat, PMB 7222. Umuahia, Abia State, Nigeria. You can be of help. You can help. But this is the address for now. We will put it on the screen so you can see it large. We will put it on the screen. Madam Commissioner, welcome back. You have been a very powerful representative of women for this state. Clearly nobody can doubt your compassion for helping the women of this state. Nobody can question it. Your sincerity and your tenacity, your determination to make things change, it's something to be marveled. And some of your ladies have sent some questions for you. Shall we?
Sure.
We shall. Honorable Commissioner, we are happy that the House of Assembly is trying to pass a bill on harmful traditional practices. It looks as if a lot of attention is paid to issues of inheritance, leaving other issues like scrapping of iron, I guess that's what I mean, and other horrible, you know what it is?
Scrapping of hair.
Okay, yeah. Do you think your ministry should go into the hinterlands and create awareness amongst the women themselves?
Yeah. You want to answer to that one?
Sure.
Okay. Thank you very much. When I just said the bill on harmful widowhood inheritance, it's a complete package. It's on harmful widowhood practices, which includes scraping of hair or whatever else they do to a widow who loses her husband. It's a package. But like I said, it's one thing to make the law. It's another thing to enforce it. And it is the women most times that have to enforce it. But we're now trying to reach the hinterland like she has asked. How are we going to reach the hinterland? We are establishing women development offices in the local governments, strong offices, so that we now have people on hand who, when there is a widow, where is a death, where is a burial, that person from that office can reach and monitor and see what is happening. But again, if we establish these offices, we still need to equip these offices to be able to move around, because it's not the local governments are not walking distances. So these are still part of our constraint, that why we say we need funds. But right now, the Local Government Service Commission is working in collaboration with the ministry, and we have interviewed qualified women to serve as these women development officers in the local government. And part of their mandate is to make sure they get to the community, work with the Ugazes that are going to take care of that.
Like satellite offices.
Satellite offices in all the local governments.
And somebody in charge of that office.
Not just one person, but people are going to be in charge of that office to monitor and give us a report on a monthly basis of what is going on in all the local governments. So these are things we have just started, and within the next 2-3 months or so, you will see that these things will start materializing and the impact will be felt. And the joy that we have in the ministry is that for each of these programs, we have the full support of Her Excellency and His Excellency. So we don't have any handicap for now as far as getting the approvals are concerned. But the financial constraints of the state as a whole is such that much as they support us, policy and approval, the funding is another matter.
Okay.
And this is where we keep saying we need the NGOs to come in, so that when the government makes its budget and can go halfway or quarter way, we get the support and we can move on.
Madam Commissioner,
yes.
The local government chairman or the local government office, they also have money. Why can't they not contribute some money to the establishment of that office?
They are contributing.
That's their constituency. That's their constituency.
They are
no?
contributing.
They are.
They are contributing.
So,
but the work is much.
So if you have the state government contributing some,
yes.
local government contributing some, NGOs and all you rich people all over the world contributing some, you can really get...
In the next 6 months, we will move women where they want to be. Because the women are ready for all this empowerment, but it is just the wherewithal, the support that they lack. So if these things are all in place, you can see our women coming up to where they should be. Because they know where they want to be.
I believe it's coming.
Yes.
And I believe it's going to happen.
Yes.
One way or another.
It's going to
happen. If it's not by human doing, God will help out.
He will.
There's another question for some time now. Abians have been traveling abroad for conventions. My question is, if Commissioner has plans for Abian women in the United States, France, London, etc., to have conventions in Abia instead of having it abroad all the time? Well, that's a good question. Why spend the money over there? Bring it here. What do you say?
Yeah, if you remember, I said that our International Women's Day, the ABIA program is to bring those women down, to see that whatever it is that is happening there for them can happen here for them too.
Yes.
And when we get some of them down here, after that outing, I am sure they will send the signal to their friends and their relations abroad that the thing you're looking for out there can happen here in Abia.
If you have this event coming up in March, let us be frank about it. Are there facilities that can house and take care of these people that are they're very much used to modern technologies and the electricity and all that? And
thank you very much, Chief. I don't mean to cut you in, but let them come back and see that it's not here, and then let them make it possible for us to have it here.
Oh!
And see how we can make it better than what is here. So we are not going to do any fancy work for them. We want them to see us the way we are, and then let them address it, because it is people who have made it out there for their people out there. Let them come back and make it for us.
Amen. I like that one. Opening a special school for especially female, less privileged in Ohafia local government area. We are registered NGO from, I think that's America. Okay, you can read the bottom part.
NGO known as Global Care Institute of Ohafia. We are registered NGO from America. Well, there is an NGO here in Abia.
Oh.
Yeah. So, yes, this is maybe one out of so many.
Okay.
This person is tucked away in Ohafia. I remember that sometime last year there was a program they held, but that is just a drop in an ocean. That is just a little thing they are doing in Ohofia. You can imagine how many communities we have. So we are saying that we don't have enough. There may be one here and there, but they are not making the impact because they are not enough.
But would the commission work with this group, even if it's one?
Sure, if they come to us and get registered and we know what they are doing, we want to work with them.
Very good.
But at times they just come in, go to Ohofia, do what they want to do and go away. They don't reach out to us so that we can collaborate effectively.
So whoever wrote this question,
please come to us in the Ministry of Women
Come to the
Affairs.
ministry and get things moving.
Thank you.
Here's another one. What should the women do to convince men to give us a chance during elections and not to victimize us? That makes something women not to fear. How can we women love ourselves and vote fellow women into power? Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, I know where they're heading to. You see, let's talk about this election and chairmanship thing and giving women an opportunity. See, the empowerment and all we are talking about is for women to appreciate that you just don't sit down and say, give me this, give me this. It is what we call in empowerment tokenism. You want them to give you something as a token. We want women to be able to come out to a stage where you get something because you merit it, because you can defend it, because you're qualified for it. Not just to give it to you because you're a woman. It doesn't take us anywhere. We want this country to grow. Look at the American election. A woman is fighting seriously to be elected president. She's just not asking for it because she's a woman. There's no issue of I'm a woman, so give me this. So if you find out that the chairmanship election, no woman was elected into the chairmanship election, why don't we go back and ask ourselves, what have we done wrong? Or what have we done right? So that come 2 years or 3 years, that thing that has prevented us from getting it this time, we'll be able to get it. We just don't sit down, fold our hands and say, give us a chairmanship. It doesn't happen that way these days. We've gone past that stage. So that is my advice to women.
There's so many questions, Commissioner, and many of them are similar. I've now sorted it out, so I should have done that earlier. But here's a good one, I thought. What is the Commissioner and the government and Abia State doing about child trafficking in the state?
Okay, thank you very much. Last week, I think that Thursday or Friday, precisely, we inaugurated the Child Trafficking Committee in the state. And outside this committee, actually the committee was inaugurated about 2004, but it's like they've not been quite up and doing. But the ministry has been working. In fact, we've intercepted so many cases of children being trafficked. A month ago, we got one that was trafficked from Zaria, all the way from Zaria into Abia. And a good Samaritan intercepted and brought the child back to us. And we had to liaise with the Ministry of Women Affairs, Kaduna State, and we've managed to get the child. And the child is from Anambra State, you won't believe it. So you can see how she trafficked from Zaria, from Anambra to Abia. And we got the child and we reunited her back to her parents, an 8-year-old girl. And before she got back, she was there for well over a week, and we're taking care of her. So, we are doing so much, and we've dedicated some lines on the air, on the radio, TV, so that when you get some of this information, call us. We can't be on the road every time knowing those things, but if you give us information, we follow up. NTA brought an information to us again sometime in November in Okigwe about a woman trafficking on very little children. We moved in with the SS, and they located the woman, and they're handling the matter. So the ministry is doing so much, but unless it has touched you personally, you may not know. But we are working. And the committee we're talking about is not just a ministry's committee. It's made up of the SS, the police, the immigration, the doctors, all sorts of people, because it's a multi-sectoral issue, not just a ministerial issue. And we have nationally the National Agency on Prevention of Trafficking and other matters. And they are working in tandem with the ministry. So we are working.
Very good, very good, very good. Here's the one that I'm sure that some men would like to know. And the question is, in a situation where a man falsely quits his wife and goes ahead to marry another just because she is barren, what is the ministry doing about this? Yes, madam.
It is over to you, the men. Why would you leave the woman because she's barren to marry another woman? Is she God? Is it not a two to tango issue? Who knows who has done the, you know what I mean?
Madam Commissioner,
so,
as I mentioned to the audience earlier, I've been married for 37 years to one woman, and I'm happy.
So you're not guilty, eh?
I'm not guilty. So,
well, the Federation of Women Lawyers are here in our midst, so they can handle that one later. You can go to them and they'll be able to get your husband to love you, children or no children. That's all there is to it.
Oh, okay. Do your best. Here's another one. I would like you to enlighten us on how far your office and the office of Her Excellency have gone in reaching the grassroots women and providing facilities like microcredit loans, either to individuals or corporate societies.
Yeah, I just gave you an example now that we started a pilot program in one local government, and Her Excellency is churning out her own. But we're telling those women that, you see, when you give to individuals, we have well over 1.5 million women in Abia. So you can't go giving to individuals. But if you can come into groups, cooperatives like the pilot scheme we have, come into groups, get your leaders who can undertake to guarantee the loan. The facilities are there, and all the microfinance banks are available. It doesn't have to be the ministry giving it to you. We have microfinance banks that the CBN has empowered to give out some of these micro credits. So get your groups, approach the microfinance banks, and they will help you. It's not a one-stop affair, the ministry alone. There are so many agencies that are into microcredits.
Good. I think there's some people that are individually looking for some help.
Yes.
Some people with already some skills.
Yes.
And they would like
Trade.
some help.
Financial support.
How would they go about getting that financial support to start off a business if necessary?
They should go apply to the microfinance banks. They should approach the microfinance banks. They are there. But if you're a registered women organization, come to the ministry. We will register you to give you a face. Do you understand? Because when we register you, we are now telling the bank, we know about this group. You can deal with them. That is the most we are doing. The ministry on its own does not have the fund. But when we get NGOs that can bring in a counterpart fund and we can house it and monitor it for them, then we can use it. But the government, it's a policy issue. The government can, right now, Abia, I must tell you, is trying to get about 19 microfinance banks formally registered. And they are getting them formally registered by helping them to get that capital investment that they are going to place. And so when these microfinance banks are ready, it means that the women can approach the banks, whether as an individual or as a group. So it is for you to look around you and see what is available. And we are going to start up a training program very soon. We're going to the 3 senatorial zones, and we're going to draw well over 1,000 women. And we're going to teach you how to access these microfinance credits. You know, these things can't all happen in one day. This administration has just come on board. And when you have a plan, you go stage by stage. We have done the initial sensitization of the Ugezes, the women. We are going to the next stage of getting the chairpersons, the women leaders, the women development officers to know how to now get your communities and sensitize you. So it's a question of being patient, and gradually, within the next 12, 24 months, a lot of things will unfold on women empowerment in the states.
And it is safe for women to just keep your office intact and informed.
And informed.
Here's another one. Why is age, I think is purposely known with women? Most women wear trousers instead of wrapper.
Yeah, why is AIDS popularly known as women? You know, they say that HIV/AIDS has a woman's face because, in the end, it's the women that suffer. When the men are infected and you lose them, I don't know why the men will lose the men faster. They leave the woman and they leave the children, and so the women suffer. Do you understand? The woman has now to look after the children, send them to school, and invariably the women too get affected. So that is why they are very vulnerable. We call them a very vulnerable group. But I don't know, that is why we think it's more of a feminine issue than a male issue, because in the end, it's the women who are left to look after the children and take care of the orphans.
I do hope that many that have questions in reference to AIDS will be at our show with the Commissioner of Health.
Okay.
We've got a big one coming with him very soon.
Okay.
But what's with this women wearing trousers instead of wrapper?
That's a difficult one. You see, the issue of dressing is a cultural thing. If you go to India, you'll find the women, as a matter of culture, wearing the trouser and sari, and so many other parts. Even if you go to America, where Chief Ajuluchukwu stays, the women wear trousers because it's convenient for them to move. So if it's our culture that we should wear wrapper, well and good, but I don't think it's an international issue for us to worry about. Yes, I don't think that's our problem. Whether you wear trouser or wrapper, the important thing is how empowered are you? What do you know? What do you do? How are you living?
That one was an interesting question. We're getting ready to come to the end of this, but what effort has the government made towards providing fertilizers and other agricultural implements for the rural women, since often your tour of the local government areas to ascertain the agricultural needs of the rural women? That's a very good question.
Yes, that's a good one, because immediately after this program, I am going to the National Root Crop Research Institute, where I have an appointment with the director. Because our program was after that need assessment, that before the women go back into the farm this season, we will move back with cassava stem, possibly fertilizer. And we are liaising with the Ministry of Agriculture to be able to see if we can get out fertilizer at a subsidized rate for the women to access from their own localities. So immediately after this program, I'm going back to the root crop for us to now agree on when to go back to the communities where we visited last year to now give them the things that we have identified based on our need assessment. So we are working. By the time the women are going back to the farms, we would have been able to start giving them as much as is possible of the farm implements and the fertilizers. So we are working.
An Action Commissioner for Women in Need. I can't believe it. Can you believe it? I'm sure there's many other questions that those in diaspora would like to add, but right now, I don't know that I would like to entertain the questions from diaspora unless you come home. Then we will entertain your question. So we're getting ready to conclude this segment. We'll be right back just so we can conclude this because I think that this has been a wonderful, wonderful show. This is Chief Ajuluchukwu. We'll be right back. Welcome back. This is the conclusion of this program. Women empowerment in Abia State, in Umuahia, in Nigeria, women in the world, and to, what's her name, Mrs. Clinton. What's her name? Oh, Hillary. Hillary. The women in Abia says, good luck. Keep going. Sure. You're going to make it. Sure. Is that correct?
Sure.
Is that correct? Yes. Is that correct? All right. Commissioner, I would like to thank you. You've done well. You've shown that you are the action, women leader, Commissioner of Women's Affairs. I'm sure that the ladies in the audience, the world, that are going to come to you, and they're going to push you. And it's a fine thing because I see we can see now that you know how to push back. So I thank you for being on Nigerian TV Online. Thank you very much, very much, very much, very much.
Thank you very much.
Let me just conclude by saying, Abians across the world, all over the world, you're needed. This commissioner is doing her best. The governor is doing her best. Madam Excellency is doing her best. The women of this state are doing their damnedest best. So it is now up to you. If you can't come home, if you cannot come to Abia, send the money and let her do the work that you know needs to be done. I thank you all for watching. This is Chief Obidike Ajuruchukwu of Nigerian TV.